Hello and welcome to my review of the Aeldari Dark Reapers for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Now, a set of 5 of these Dark Reapers will cost you £35. It's a bit of a chunk of money there for that price. You are getting a number of options though, especially with the Exarch, of which we'll go through. So yeah, what that does mean in real terms is that to get these 5 Dark Reapers and Morgan Ra, it's going to cost you £62, which is, you know, a fair amount of money, you know, for 6 models. So the format of this review, as always, I'll go through the models individually, we'll look at the detail, I'll go through all the spare parts, we'll do some size comparisons, specifically with the older Dark Reaper models and the older new Morgan Ra, as well as the usual Space Marines, and then I will go through all of their rules in the 9th edition Aeldari Codex. So first things first, just want to have a little talk about the instruction guide, you know, which made its feature in the unboxing. Pretty much the poses will stay the same throughout most of these 5, but the heads might change. You've kind of got an option for a helmeted, and then the front part of the helmet is a bit different. You can either build holding that or reloading, which is signified there, and then you've got the Exarch, which can build in a number of ways. So you kind of got a couple of heads per Dark Reaper, you know, helmeted and kind of the front faceplate off, and then the Exarch you've got again helmetless, one with these odd kind of diagonal you know, helmet winglets, I want to call them. But then you've got the Exarch itself, which can be built a number of ways. You've got this, which is what I've gone for, holding the Reaper launcher and a skull. You've got one with a shuriken cannon, one with a, I think a Tempest launcher, and then a missile launcher. So yeah, that does mean you can equip your Exarch with 4 different weapons, and if you don't want it to have if you don't want it to be an Exarch, you can equip it just normal. So technically that's 5 different options there for one model, and they're all highlighted there. And then you've got the usual Dark Reaper pose too. I mean, the one thing about these is you can move the head, I guess, but the arms and the way their weapons are sort of aimed is going to be the same. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point with the miniatures and their options. So let's have a look at them. So this is the Exarch, which I've equipped with the Tempest launcher. This is the only way you can really equip it with a Tempest launcher, unless you pose it like a normal Dark Reaper and then just change the head. So this is what we've got. Looks quite cool, very Dark Reaper-ish. I'll probably say they look softer and not as like intimidating as they used to. I'm not really sure why that is. I think it's the top knots rather than the full dome helmet, and I think it's something to do with the legs as well. The weapons are very similar to what they had before. This one is just chilling back. This one is spraying the target, I guess. Got this one jogging or stepping forward. It's quite rare that we'd have them moving forward. And then this one is in quite an iconic sort of Dark Reaper pose. You also get one of these aspect shrines, which is the Reaper, of course. You get one with all of them, even with the Rangers, which aren't technically aspect warriors, but yeah, that's a thing that they seem to be doing with some of the minis. So the spare parts then are right here, and you do get a decent number of them, I guess. So yeah, you've got the missile launcher and the you know, unused Reaper launcher for the Exarch. You're getting the shuriken cannon, you're getting part of the Tempest launcher, and then the other missiles kind of are equipped, I think, above it, like so. I mean, if I built another set, I'll probably go for the Tempest launcher next time. But the thing is, the other Aeldari, the other Dark Reapers, except for one, will look the same. So you have 3 in exactly the same poses. Maybe you could kind of change their heads a little bit, but yeah, this is what happens with the aspect warriors because they're not really multi-pose as much. This is one of the Dark Reapers with a hood and these spiky kind of dagger winglets. And you got this one. You got these helmetless ones. So overall, you're getting 8 spare heads there, and this one, which was, you know, the Reaper was reloading that. You get a couple of other extra little bits and things. So yeah, not a huge number of spare parts. Not sure whether you could use these with the. Did they make them in fine cast, I think, before this? But there we are. That's the spare parts. So size comparisons then. I would like to just throw in Morgan Ra first of all, just to give you an idea of just how big Morgan Ra is. I mean, it's Phoenix Lords. He's on a 40mm base, I think that is. So and also stands a fair bit bigger. I mean, if we had them side by side, Morgan Ra would still be just a little bit taller. But yeah, if you're going for Dark Reapers, that's what they're kind of going to look like. That's what they're going to look like if you're putting Morgan Ra with them. So that's where he compares. The old Morgan Ra would look a bit small next to these new plastic minis. Not sure whether he'd look out of place, but yeah, he'd definitely be a bit smaller surrounded them. The old Dark Reaper right here, maybe I've got this one. I mean, we can see just how far we've come. New Dark Reaper is just a little bit taller, just a little bit, like the legs. Obviously the base is on this, I don't think it's 32, I think this base is like a 32 as well, but the weapon looks similar, and you can see that they've grabbed some cues, but I really like these extra bits that they had before, which they don't anymore. And I did like these domed helmets, which they're missing too. Now they've been replaced with top knots, but that just gives you an idea of where we've kind of come to have these plastic ones. I think these were about £6 or £7 each, or maybe they were in a set of 3. Possibly they were in a set of 3, because this is metal, you see, 1992, that base says anyway. But yeah, that just gives you an idea of where they sort of stand next to the older models. Next to an Autarch, which you might be using with them, there she is. And then I do have a Ranger and a Guardian. So compared to a Guardian, probably say they're a little bit taller, just a little bit though, and Rangers are quite tall anyway. Rangers are probably a little bit taller, if not the same, but I think the Ranger models are quite tall anyway. But that's where the Dark Reapers stand. I'd just throw in the Avatar of Cain, why not? Just throw in the Avatar of Cain. So if you wanted to use the Avatar with the Dark Reapers, there they are. And the last 3 models I always like to compare is just with Space Marines. So we've got a normal Space Marine, which is a bit taller actually than a Dark Reaper. It's quite strange, but it is. Slight Marbo, almost up to the same height. And then you've got a Primaris, which is a fair bit taller. So if you're up against Primaris, they are going to, I say dwarf, not really dwarf, but they're going to seem a bit bigger and chunkier, a bit bigger and thicker and taller than the Dark Reapers, even the Exarch look. So if you had like a sergeant or captain or lieutenant, yeah, they're going to be, the presence is going to be felt amongst these Dark Reapers. Okay, this is the final part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Dark Reapers. You'll find them in your 9th edition codex under the heavy support choice. Not really a huge amount of heavy support choices for Eldar. I've always found that they were a little bit lacking. You've got the usual support weapons and war walkers, falcons, night spinners and fire prisms, but that's about it. You don't get many fast long range support, fast like artillery pieces. Night Spinner is kind of like a mobile artillery, with a fire prism as being a fast anti-tank, but I've always found them to be a bit lacking in the heavy support. So Dark Reapers then, And I used to take Dark Reapers to purposely counteract Space Marine Devastators, because Devastators back then you couldn't really have all of them with las cannons. You had to have them with a mixture of weapons, and Dark Reapers, even just 3 of them, had these Tempest launchers which had 2 shots each at 48-inch range, so that was 6 shots. I think they were hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s, and it would be kind of instant death because it would be AP 3, which if you're familiar now with the Horus Heresy rules, that would equal the save and just take them out. But now, of course, you've got Space Marines with 2 wounds, so it's even harder to do. Let's go through the rules of these then. They are a power points cost of an 8 and a points cost of 150 points for the unit. For the Aeldari missile launcher, you can spend an extra 5 points. The Shuriken cannon is free, and the Tempest launcher is an extra 10 points. So what do you get for these points, which I might add they're quite decently priced? Well, you're getting 4 Dark Reapers and 1 Dark Reaper Exarch, and that's it. You can't like add to the unit or anything like that. You can't have 10 of them, which is a shame, and I, would have preferred them to have the option to having 10 in a unit. Definitely would have motivated me to pick up another 5. Their movement is 6 inches, weapon skill is 3+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. Now, I would have preferred their stat line to be a little bit better, to reflect the fact that they are kind of crack shots. Even if it reduced the attacks down to 1, other aspect warriors have their profiles that reflect their aspect, such as Howling Banshees are quicker and they have more attacks. Fire Dragons are tougher, and Striking Scorpions also have more attacks. But these, it seems like they only have their 3+ save, which is still better than, like Dire Avengers and Howling Banshees. Actually, it's the same as the Fire Dragons and Striking Scorpions, but I still would have preferred them to like be ballistic skill 2+ maybe. So the Dark Reaper Exarch has the same stat line, but has 2 wounds and has 3 attacks. Every model is equipped with a Reaper launcher. Now, what's the fuss about the Reaper launcher? Well, it's not as good as it used to be. You've got 2 profiles for attacks. You've got Star Shot, which is 48-inch range, heavy 1, strength 8, AP -2, damage 3, or a Star Swarm. Your same range, but you're getting 2 shots, strength 5, AP is still -2, and damage of 2. So, I don't know, I think I would have probably preferred 1 profile and have it as heavy 2, strength 8 or 7, AP -3 and damage 2, rather than what we've got. I mean, you can kind of go for anti-armor, or I say anti, or horde, I guess. With 5 of them, you are going to be getting your 10 shots, or 5 strength 8 shots. Still pretty nice, especially at that 48-inch range. The Dark Reaper Exarch's Reaper launcher can be replaced with one of the following: Aeldari missile launcher, Shuriken cannon, or Tempest launcher. So the Shuriken cannon is a 24-inch range, heavy 3, strength 6, AP -1, damage 2, Shuriken. Not sure why you'd pick that, unless you're going to be putting these in a Wave Serpent or Falcon and, flying them up the board, because to have your Exarch be half the range with its weapon and have to move your unit a lot doesn't make much sense in my book. Yes, he's getting the extra shot, but it's half that range. The missile launcher could be a good option to get that extra damage, but it is damage D6, so you may still only get damage 1 or damage 1 or 2, which is actually worse than the Reaper launcher's Star Shot profile. You can fire a Star Swarm profile. You can fire a Sunburst, which again could only get 1 shot. So it's more, but it is blast. So it's more reliable just to go for another Reaper launcher than the missile launcher. The new weapon though is the Tempest launcher, and that is a bit of a happy medium, and that is and that is definitely a good weapon against hordes. It's a 36-inch range, so it's not as long range as the Reaper launcher, but you can get a potential of possibly 12 shots. It's heavy 2d6. Strength 4, so it's a bit weak on the strength. Its AP is -2, which is not too bad. Damage is only 1, but where it shines is it is a blast weapon, and it can target units that are not visible to the bearer. So having a weapon that's 36-inch range, possibly 12 shots, that can fire at things that he can't see, is pretty nice. Abilities: Strands of Fate. Aspect armor. Models in the unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. Gives them a bit more survivability. They are a bit squishy at toughness 3 though, with a save of 3+, and they've only got 1 wound each, so don't expect them to last too long. I would put them in cover as hard as you can. Inescapable accuracy. Each time a model in this unit makes a range attack, that target does not receive the benefits of dense cover against that attack. It's pretty much synonymous for like Dark Reapers, and Morgan Ra has that ability. Keywords: Aeldari, Asuryani, Infantry Corps, Aspect Warrior, and Dark Reapers. So there you are. The models are all right. Again, I'm not a massive fan of the top knots and the shape of the helmet and things. Everything else, like the weapons, is good, and the X art looks all right, I guess. It's just the rules. The rules aren't as amazing as I would expect them to be for like a long range unit, and then you add to the fact that you can only have 5 of them as opposed to having an optional 5 more, which you can have with Howling Banshees, Striking Scorpions, Dire Avengers, and Fire Dragons, not to mention Swooping Hawks and Warp Spiders. So they're the only Aspect Warriors that have that limitation of having 5 of them in a unit. If it was me, I'd probably scrap the Reaper Launcher's 2 profiles and have 1 good profile, and also have them either increase their ballistic skill, allow them to move while shooting, or give them some kind of extra ability. So there you go, that is my review of the Aeldari Dark Reapers. What do you guys think? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Avatar protects.